Yes, yes, yes. Well, I'm here, I'm here, I'm here. And this is the Arcturian here. The vehicle has expressed a individual conversation with me to be able to express to her and to those who are listening about deja vu and what it means. She has experienced this many times herself, a sense of familiarity in a scene she is observing. But I could say, and there is more than just one of us now in this conversation, as we are always willing to talk to you all. It is not, while it can be an individual conversation, we are a collective. We love to share all our experiences, wisdoms, and knowledge as we are independently while collectively observing you all. As we are partly what you could call the guardians. There's many guardians depending on your labels in terms and reference points of who is here now to support humanity through its experiences, to support all souls who are on this planet for their experiences. And so, what you have labeled as being deja vu, of course, you have not created that name. That has been passed upon you as a reference point for those moments where you feel that familiarity of revisiting the scene again. And so we say, since there is no such thing as time, it is a sense of you being connected in with us as we are checking how it is going from our advanced time perspective. And so you may be noticing these are not gigantic, significant moments where you are giving birth to your children, although we are watching and observing and supporting all souls who are in that transaction. We are always with you. So it is not a sense of us, as the vehicle pondered, a looking. We're always looking in on you. But there is more memory, cognizance, not cognizance, cognizant. No, the vehicle cannot pronounce that. Cognizant. She cannot hear us, she can sense us, and we are giving her the sense of a word. She's too relaxed to focus on trying to pronounce a word she cannot formulate. She, cognizant. We're trying. We're trying to talk through her to be able to formulate. All is well. People who do not understand how channeling works. She's not hearing us, she's sensing us, and we have a different vocabulary to her. And so while we're trying to use the vehicle in words that she can without worries, concerns, speak through. We suggest for those who do not understand this to have their own sessions to channel for themselves, to be able to understand the difference between the conscious mind and us channeling through the body of a 3D vehicle. And so we wanted to express about what is going on for you. Your mindsets are living what you perceive as daily lives of lineage, of linear expressions and experiences. And so you may be just humbly sitting there, minding your own business, and you get a sudden awareness of your full surroundings and your full existence in this lifetime. It is like you feel like you've already experienced that moment before. And while we say that we do check in on you all the time and we are there with you, it is a sense that you've already had a dream of that moment. And so you feel like it's a past experience that you have had to be aware of the current present experience that you have now during the official deja vu moment. Some of you have had dreams where you have been reviewing and planning your lives, and this is a nexus point. This is a point of value for you to be able to plan your life contracts. And so you are, when you are sleeping, your soul actually still is in direct communication with your spiritual teams, with your soul families, and it is significant. While you also do lots of other work here on this energy field, these energy grids, and so there's moments of time where you feel the deja vu is from an experience that when you were with your guides planning your experiences for future for various reasons. So you have gone, you have, we're trying to give you the stronger definition for it for you to have complete clarity. So we're going to use your concepts of time. For example, in January, you had a life review, life contract review where you wanted to extend a moment, extended experiences. And so when you were looking through the possibilities of your future life, you were checking in to see how that was going, to see what experiences you would be having next. So you used your in sleep state time in January to extend experiences and lessons and opportunities for you to grow as you were looking and pinpointing in future times that you would be in what you would perceive as linear time to be able to navigate where you want to be in terms of jobs, relationships, houses, a whole lot of things you factor in. So in this dreamlike state that you had in a what you would call a January, you were jumping ahead and looking for moments in time. And so you got a conscious awareness to this, and this is significant for you to notice and just have reassurances that it was you peering into future events, future moments to just get a sense of, do you have chaos in your general life? This is why it's important to not do it in a significant moment, to do it in a daily moment, just a casual moment, because that's when we can truly gauge and sense how your lives are actually going. And so while you think and suddenly are aware of you just sitting in a chair, what the information that has been collected from that is exploring everything. It is the stock take, if you will, of your life as it is in that moment of time, not just what you're doing. It is about a full, we want to say 360 view of the life you're living. And so this is about selecting choices to know the right path to navigate through. And while there is many choices that you could have, you're going and exploring all that there could be for you in the January. And so you have these pinpricks of moments of time where you look and explore, and then you agree upon your guides to help you be guided to that moment, that nexus point, that nexus point. And so you will reformulate, replan, adjust life contracts in that January moment. And so, therefore, when you have and guide and live your lives to that time where you actually are and have experience before in January, you may be living it in, say, for example, the month of May. And so when you get to that point of May, it's such a significant moment that you instantly recognize it as I've been here before. Whereas it's because it was so scanned and dealt with and looked at and explored that moment. And so you are consciously aware, you've examined quite a lot about your current living standards and life in that moment. It's not just necessarily a moment, it can be a situation that plays out, a conversation that plays out. Often we like it when often we will scan and find a moment where you are having a conversation with a significant person or people, because we're looking at all the interactions where everybody's at. Often it is such a strong connection of experiences because these are all the souls that are dealing and working through this point, this pinpoint of time to expand upon and explore. So it feels so familiar because when your soul has explored this in great depths, we want to explain that life contracts are not just fortune cookies and it's just one sentence. It is a gigantic, complicated system of layers and connections. It is so much more to it than just a one line or a few requirements or hopes or connections. There is so much that goes into the fine prints of your life contracts, shall we say. And so when you're experiencing that deja vu, which feels so familiar, it is a confirmation that you have agreed on all levels to be in that stream of experiences. And while we understand so many people get confused about timelines, the one you're in is the only one you have experienced. There is small possibilities and small other options, but as you choose the conscious stream of linear life experiences, that is the one your soul has chosen to keep and focus on. It is all possibilities, but there is a drive of consistency of experiences. You cannot go back to the other, what you could call potential timelines. You do not jump around different timelines, so to speak, unless you are referring to us jumping into your timeline, which is very different right now because we're in a different space. There is no time and space as such from our perspective. And so consciously, we are jumping timelines to speak to you now. And we say, for those people who get hung up on the conversations of timelines, understand what you're talking about, because there is misconceptions about what timelines are and how they unfold. So there is much to be said about that. Plus, you must factor in parallel lives that are also your soul essences experiencing certain events, which also could be what some people are misunderstanding about the different options of a soul having fractions of different timelines experiences. When a channeling translation is not fully exploring and expanding upon the information, we could say to you, you are currently living 12 different timelines. But what we are saying about you is that those are independent 12 different lifetimes, different independent people who have different names, different fractions, different families, different houses, while it's all you, because you are just all part of source, which is expanded upon your soul essence. There is different yous out there. So you must be able to understand what the information is when you're hearing channeled information. And when people are translating this information, they could use their human egos and concepts of their perspectives of concepts being understood by their mindsets to be able to express different truths. While you're all one, as there are some souls that are having simultaneously different experiences through different vehicles. And so with the translation of the channeling, they could be referring to you having different parallel lives, but you do not associate or identify as such being the other being in the other vehicle with the other families and the different careers as being you. You feel like you're still separate. You still feel like you're just an individual. And while it's true, you are an individual, while you are separate, you're all connected, you're all one. So we say, isn't that easy to understand? And so the sense of deja vu is about a nexic point where you are reaching, which you've already expanded upon the experiences of that life. It feels so familiar because you have explored and examined your life at this point. It is significant, but it's also purposeful for you to remember and question, why does this moment feel so familiar? And it does not feel a scary familiar. It feels like a comfort familiar. It feels that there is a sense of, okay, all is well here. This is interesting because I feel like I am experiencing it from a higher perspective of consciousnesses. And yes, you are, because you've already experienced it as potentially your subconscious or potentially your higher version of self, whatever you want to label and understand who it is that truly is designing your life contracts and your life experiences while you're using your 3D awakening, your 3D awakened human ego mind to play that out. Plus, you have so much support, as we always supporting and inspiring others around you to help guide you to grow, heal, learn, expand upon experiences, to love completely, unconditionally, to all. And so there is much to be said about what goes on, and while you are only consciously aware of your daily lives, this is a very small aspect of who you truly are. But we understand this makes you feel insignificant. For some who do not like to feel like they are the only third-dimensional aspect of self, you are multidimensional. And you're having the consistent human experience as you perceive it to have the soul experience. And this is part of your responsibilities and your service to your higher self, to be able to experience all that there is. And so there is much to be said. We do say that some people who feel like this is a deja vu moment are actually prophets and actually get an insight into future events. The moment that they're in, what they would call a deja vu is the moment they are supposed to expand upon their consciousnesses to be able to have a deeper connection to self, to be able to get downloads of information about future events. This is a more surreal moment for them because some of the downloads of information that they were allowed to get at that moment of time can be given to them while they're in this type of daydream. They get the download, but for some, it is simultaneously taken away from them because it is not the right time to get the profit information. And so there is much to be said about these, what you could say, glitches in your consciousnesses. We invite you all to experience these moments. They are significant, and they're always connections and windows of opportunities for you to explore and learn from and understand what it really is all about. So many of you are still seeking the truth of what life is all about. And while you feel so depressed in the density of the 3D, when you understand all is well, and when you understand who you are and why you're here, that can be the most significantly empowering moment for you in your growth. We say this with so much love and inspiration for you to question and explore all for yourself, to be able to truly know who it is and who you are.